Hey guys, hey, we're gonna get started in about 5 minutes. We have a tradition that we start on time. So if anybody would like to speak to any of these three bills, there's a sign up sheet up here, and you'll have an opportunity to speak to any of the bills. Okay, we're gonna get started. If there's no objection, we'll go from the shortest bill to the next shortest bill to the other bill. If anyone, and when I say guys, that's guys and gals. That's a proper word, guys. If anybody wants to sign up to speak to any of these bills, come up and put the bill number you'd like to speak to, and we'll give everybody the opportunity to speak. I'll remind you that we're having a hearing only on the three bills. This is it will be recorded, of course, and shown, and our members are in other meetings, but they will have the opportunity to look at this. We're going to fully vet these bills today, And so I'm going to open with a word of prayer, and then we're going to let Chairman Lumsden present from where he is, the table or the podium. Let's go to the Lord in prayer. Lord, we thank you for this time together, and we pray, Lord, that we'd look to you for guidance in the decisions we make for the great state of Georgia, that it would be pleasing to you and what's best for the people of the state. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. Chairman Lumsden. Your mic is hot, sir.
It's hot. All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm here to present House Bill 1263. This is a Department of Insurance bill. It addresses the time frame within which an insurance company may amend their premium tax filings from a previous year.
Chairman Lumsden, excuse me, I'm sorry.
I was getting to that.
I know, but I just want you to make sure we're on the right LC number.
That's where I was headed. 1262 LC number 520959. Okay? All right. This, as I said, is a department bill, and it addresses the time frame in which an insurance company may file or amend their premium tax filing from a previous year. Now, when an insurer issues a policy, it collects a premium tax and remits those funds to the Office of the Insurance Commissioner. Now, under current law, there is no statutory look-back period governing amendments to prior premium tax filings. As a result, insurers may retroactively review filings from any number of years and seek refunds for overpayment. House Bill 1263 establishes a clear and reasonable limitation by capping that look-back period for 3 years, consistent with the standard 3-year amendment window applicable to individual income tax filings. Now, this issue became particularly salient during the fiscal year of 2025 when a single company conducted a 7-year retrospective review and filed for a refund totaling $142 million. That unanticipated liability created significant disruptions to the state budget and to broader fiscal planning. Now, the intent of this bill is not to prohibit insurers from correcting prior filings or seeking legitimate refunds. Rather, it provides certainty and predictability by setting a defined statutory boundary. By aligning the premium tax amendment period with common tax administration practice, the state can better manage revenue forecasting and avoids substantial unexpected refund obligations. Mr. Chairman, that's the bill in summary. I'm joined here by Bryce Rawson from the Office of the Insurance Commissioner, who will be glad to address any issues or any questions that anybody might have.
Do we have any questions from the committee? Yes, ma'am. I'll hold that motion a moment, and I want to remind everyone that on this committee that'll be watching this video, we have a copy of the bill, and everybody was spread out this afternoon. And the subcommittee, feel free to ask Chairman Lumsden on this bill or any other bill, as he will be here listening to them, and the author of the other two bills, Mr. Reeves. And we have a motion.
Hearing only.
Here, that's what I said. We have a motion, but it's a hearing only. I was going to send her right on the rules. Okay. Thank you, sir. And I'm sure we might possibly have some questions, but and this will probably go to the full committee in front of Chairman Lumsden
tomorrow. And any questions that you might have, certainly feel free to address to me, but Bryce Rawson, which is our legislative liaison, certainly can give you more information in detail if you have a question.
Yeah, and sure, and those people, you can direct those other members to him if they have a question.
Very good.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chairman Reeves. Be sure and tell us the LC number so we'll make sure we're following along correctly.
Thank you, Chairman Tarvin, Chairman Lumsden, Leader Hughley. Proud to be in front of you on House Bill 1274. I think you said do the short one first. It is the file bill, no amendments. I do not have that LC number handy, but the one that you have printed from.
Okay, we're working off of LC 529007.
That's
You
right.
say that is correct.
This is the auto insurance excess profits bill. This was requested by Insurance Commissioner John King during the work of the Blue Ribbon Insurance Rate Study Committee. This bill is similar to one in Florida and several other states that says that in the rate filings, when an insurance company states an expected profit in their rate filing, if they have understated that, and if you have 3 consecutive years where they exceed that expected profit by 5% or more, then they are mandated to file for a rate reduction. The practical effect of that, in Florida, one insurer was caught by the insurance commissioner not having complied with that, and it saved $1 billion to car insurance customers. So there were many times during the Blue Ribbon Study Committee that people giving testimony said, I wish there was a way to require insurance companies to pass profits on to customers. This is the way to do it. You have transparency in the rate filing about their expected profit, and if they were too pessimistic on that or understated it, this is a way to ensure that the excess profits are passed on to the customers.
Okay.
That's House Bill 1274.
We have any questions from the committee? Leader Hughley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To Chairman Reeves, did the insurance commissioner tell us how much or how often this happens here in Georgia and how much money we're talking about recouping potentially?
Here in Georgia, there's not currently any look back on the profits. So this statute would make it something that there is an inquiry on going forward, and it implements a successful model from other states. We do have Bryce Rawson from the Insurance Commissioner's Office if there is any available information in addition to that.
Back up to the podium. My name is Bryce Rawson, Director of Legislative Affairs for the Georgia Insurance Commissioner's Office. We are following in the footsteps of Florida. This would be new legislation, so as Chairman Reeves was saying, currently there's no reason for us to go back and ask companies at what point in time should they return their profits back to consumers. This would be entirely new legislation, so this would not have happened thus far.
May I ask another question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
So how long has Florida had this?
This has been on the books for several years. I believe this most recent case down in Florida with the $1 billion refund was a more recent effectuation of that law.
So do you know how much Florida has recouped and turned back to their citizens as a result of having this law?
I don't know historically what the average is, but with this, I would certainly say that $1 billion is no small feat down there in the state of Florida. The average Floridian that was a policyholder of that company did receive about $300 as a result of that law.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the committee? As I read this, it went through my mind. I've been on both sides of paying a lot of money for insurance, and I have an insurance license. I'm not much of an agent. But as I read this, I wondered, and it kind of some things popped through my mind. I wonder if they came out on the other end and lost money, and would they wait 3 years and then y'all call them and tell them they had to raise rates? Or, I was just wondering. But I'm sure that would have already come before 3 years were up, because I don't believe they would have continued to try to operate without an increase.
Well, during the process, when I was presenting this issue on behalf of Commissioner King, people said, what happens in terms of losses? Well, that's when they file for the rate increases. So they've done that.
Yeah, so they usually don't wait 3 years.
Nationwide, it's been about 60% over the last 5 or 6 years. In Georgia, I don't know that it's been that steep, but certainly it's been noticeable and painful to auto insurance customers here in Georgia, those rate increases. And as we'll talk about with the next bill, We've had 10 companies cut their rates recently, 2 companies enter the market. We want to keep that kind of momentum going, and certainly if they are doing business in Florida in this fair way for customers, they ought to feel comfortable doing it in Georgia also.
Thank you, sir. And any other questions from the committee, subcommittee? I look around this room and I know see the people, I don't know them, but I see the people in here and I know they've already touched base with you if they had a problem with it, and will be on the sign-up sheet if they did. But is anyone else out there who would like to speak anything on this bill, speak anyway on this bill? To it or against it, for it or against it? All right, Chairman Reeves, you're up for the biggest bill of the day in this committee.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And I'm glad we got some additional members in here. House Bill 1344 is the largest of the 4 bills that came from the Insurance Rate Study Committee. Although the 2 other bills you've heard, and one that Chair Lady Taylor's subcommittee heard were specifically requested by the Insurance Commissioner, I would like to note that he has been cooperative and in touch with us in reviewing House Bill 1344 as well. And I would like to thank the Speaker of the House for appointing the committee and putting about 1/10 of the House on the committee. I want to thank him for being the second signer on this bill. I want to thank Chairman Lumsden, Leader Hughley, signing this bill. We've worked together on this bill, working across the state and across the aisle to make insurance more affordable for hardworking Georgians. That's what House Bill 1344 does. The committee members went to Macon, Georgia, Savannah, Georgia, the capital, Gwinnett County, and they heard from people who had claims that took too long. They heard from people whose rates went up. We heard from UGA, Insurance and Risk Management School, Georgia State's Insurance School, University of South Carolina's Insurance School, and many other people knowledgeable about insurance to get the best ideas on how to make sure rates and premiums are going down for our customers in Georgia and make sure that claims are processed fairly and quickly for insurance customers. In Georgia, we've had a positive turnaround start recently in recent months, late in 2025 and early this year, with having 10 companies cut their rates. And let me give them credit for that. State Farm cut their rates $400 million, 10%. Liberty Mutual has 2 entities that have cut rates in Georgia: Safeco, Southern General, Progressive, Hanover, Go Auto, Allstate, and I believe this week, Country Mutual. The 2 companies who have entered the market are American Integrity Insurance. They were in Florida. They've come north of the border in recent months. And then Donegal Insurance over in Athens, they had actually pulled out of the Georgia market. They have come back in recent months. So those are good things going, and this bill is designed to keep that momentum going and to turbocharge it, make sure more companies are filing in rate decreases and more companies are resolving these claims favorable to customers. 2 words that describe this bill are legislative oversight. We don't have a lot of heavy overbearing regulations like you do in some other states where companies are leaving the market and still increasing rates. What you have here is some good, sound legislative oversight based on, I think, 9 months of study by the study committee. And so this is the strongest insurance legislation that we've been able to find around the country to make insurance rates go down and claims processed fairly based on real-world examples from states that have a positive track record. And now let me go through the bill a little bit, but let me point out page 11 of the bill. That's my favorite page in the bill because there was a concern, well, if rates go down, you'll have more denials. On page 11 of the bill, the insurance commissioner gets to look at all available information to the commissioner, including violations and market conduct and delayed claims handling and complaints. So if there are problems in conjunction with a rate decrease that the claims are getting denied, the insurance commissioner will know about that. They'll be able to take action both on rates and claims processing issues. So that takes the blindfold off and lets all the facts to be considered, and I think that'll make Georgia insurance customers the winners. Here's some additional parts of the act. You heard about several fines, or I believe Chair Lady Taylor's committee got to hear about fines on surprise medical billing, mental health, and general fine authority being increased 5-fold in those serious matters. Well, this bill increases another 40 or so fines. We went through the entire insurance code, which is 2 big volumes of the Georgia code, and we found 40 fines of insurance companies and insurance fraud, and we increased those fines significantly. It strengthens enforcement of uninsured motorist laws. Just yesterday in another committee, I heard the Department of Driver Services Commissioner mention there are over 9.1 million driver's licenses in Georgia. About 20% of Georgia right now has uninsured motorists. And so this bill prompts uninsured motorist enforcement in many ways, and hopefully will decrease uninsured motorist rates in Georgia so that you'll have more insurance in case you get in an accident in Atlanta traffic and traffic across the state. It includes Speaker Pro Tem Jan Jones' excluded driver legislation that you may have heard about from the Motor Vehicle Committee. That's kind of a new modus operandi that's occurring in more noticeable numbers, where if you have a high-risk driver in your household or in your business, they can exclude that driver, which that's okay, but then don't give that driver the keys in the car. This will designate an excluded driver who's driving anyway as an uninsured motorist, subject to the uninsured motorist recourse under Georgia law, and it closes a loophole that has created more uninsured drivers. It cracks down on insurance fraud in a number of ways in the bill. It creates some cooperation between the Department of Insurance and the Department of Economic Development to invite and recruit and expand companies having their insurance headquarters in Georgia, regional or national or even international company headquarters. If you look around Georgia, Aflac in Columbus, Georgia, Primerica in Gwinnett County, State Farm in Dunwoody now, or previously in Johns Creek, those are awesome office buildings with a lot of working people. They're an ideal neighbor. They make Georgia better, and also having insurance at home here will make Georgia in touch with insurance issues for the benefit of our customers. It places guardrails on local insurance premium tax uses. We did consult with our Georgia cities in reviewing that. They came and testified at the committee. I showed them this language, made them aware of that. What that would do is that large amount of money that our locals get, they'd still get to keep that, but they need to show that they are thinking about and they are implementing activities at the local level that will have a positive effect on policies, whether it's traffic enforcement, uninsured motorist enforcement, insurance, financial literacy, things like that. It implements the Fortified Homes program that we heard about at the study committee meeting in Savannah. That's working well in several other states to shore up homes against wind damage, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, particularly senior citizens in need. The Insurance Commissioner's Office is willing to take that program on subject to appropriations and meet those needs of fortifying homes in Georgia. It tightens up Georgia law about claims processing and deadlines in a number of ways, particularly in cases of catastrophes, our hurricanes, our tornadoes, our ice storms, things like that, mass floods. You know, for Georgia, Hurricane Helene was like Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans in terms of the magnitude. That was our biggest ever insurance event in Georgia. And that was difficult for so many Georgians. But if you look back at Hurricane Michael, we've had the claims resolved more quickly with Hurricane Helene, and we want to build upon that and make sure when the next storm hits that it gets done even quicker. So that's an overview of the bill, and appreciate the work of the committee members who served on the study committee. Appreciate the insurance committee looking over the insurance rate study committee bill, House Bill 1344. I don't know that he signed up, but I believe we have a representative of the independent insurance agents, John Barber, who can speak to the bill if he's able to.
I would like for Mr. Barber to come on up, but I want to ask the committee to ask you questions. For no, he can sit at the podium or a table, or go to the podium, and I'll open up questions from the committee to you, and then we'll hear from Mr. Barber. Leader Hughley.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the bill. One of the most important things that I see as we're talking about our favorite parts of the bill has to do with how we're going to handle insurance fraud, because we lose so much money in this state, and it costs our policyholders so much money because we have not been doing such a good job in handling insurance fraud. So I'm hoping that the additional tools that we're giving the insurance commissioner will yield results, and that will be a driver in making insurance more affordable for our citizens. So I just want to point out that that's my favorite part of the
All right.
bill, because that's something that we've seen that has been a problem for many, many years. And so I'm hoping that the insurance commissioner will have the resources and the tools and the staffing necessary to make a difference in that particular area. So I apologize, Mr. Chair, that's not a question but a statement, but I felt compelled to make it.
And Chairman Tarbin, if I could respond, Leader Hughley, that is definitely part of the equation of getting costs down and claims down that are not necessary. I had a constituent of mine switch jobs. He got a company truck with a logo. And within the first month that he had somebody pull off the roadside, sideswipe him. From all appearances, it appeared to be a staged accident. That is in here. That is not currently legal, but this gives some more teeth on that. The insurance commissioner in this bill has more authority to work with our local DAs. The insurance department has a lot of investigators, but they need a prosecutor to bring the case. This ties them together, and it puts some teeth in our insurance fraud investigation and prosecution. Hard-working folks who were paying the bills, they shouldn't be paying for fraudulent schemes, and the uninsured motorist also, we need to reduce those costs in addition to fraud.
Is that good? I'm good. You were looking, I thought you might want to say something else. Do we have any further questions from the committee for the presenter?
And I would like to acknowledge Leader Hughley. We were headed to Columbus. We had Chair Lady Mandy Ballinger pass away. Her funeral canceled that meeting, but I would like to thank Leader Hughley, Aflac, Columbus State, everybody there in Columbus who's ready to hear from us. It did make that next meeting and making a little bit longer, but appreciate Columbus putting some fingerprints on this bill.
We have one more question, and after this question, we'll have any more, then we're going to hear from John Barber, but I'm not going to let you go till I have a couple of comments. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know I'm a little tardy to the party, but I did have another committee going on. On line 157, is this the first violation of this code being a felony?
This, Representative Douglas, in Section 2.3, which, it's a couple pages long and ends up on 157, this got moved from a different code section. So it got reclassified. It was in the insurance code. It got moved there. They did have a graduated scale. It was a misdemeanor, and if it's a repeat violation, then it would become a felony. Let me talk about this. This is something that's in the nature of insurance fraud. Every Georgia lawyer in their first year of law school, one of the first things you learn in legal ethics is do not go in person and solicit clients. There are rules. It's not just etiquette, but there are bar rules about you have to market as an advertisement. You have to be ethical in the way that you offer yourself to people as potential clients. There's a middleman culture in other states where lawyers use runners, quote-unquote runners, and that is what is addressed in this code section, which is from current law. We skip straight to a felony because this is something where these people are doing the dirty work, mainly for out-of-state lawyers here in Georgia. But Georgia lawyers do not tolerate runners going out there and soliciting injured people in person in violation of the bar rules. So this is it makes current law tougher.
So is this, may I follow up, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
So what you're telling me is on their first offense, it's a felony?
That's right. And also the current law is 100,000. This would take it to 200,000. So the changes weren't noted because it came from a different code section. So current law right now, if you're a runner and you're going to somebody at the hospital saying, hey, you need to, you better call Saul, who's in Florida, but he'll find somebody up here to let him do it. Right now it's a misdemeanor and it's 100,000 per violation. This says it's a felony and it's 200,000 up to $200,000 per violation. It basically says, do not do that in Georgia.
Now, I'm getting kind of confused. So is it right now in the law, so we're changing it from 100,000
Correct.
to 200,000
That's right.
and a felony on the first offense?
Yes.
Wow.
But that's got to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt that they knowingly are breaking the law. So this is something that, if the lawyer does it directly, they're going to get disbarred. So this would say, don't go do the dirty work for some lawyer in Florida to do this.
Yeah.
I'll get you the code section of where it got moved. And the insurance commissioner investigators, they want to get all the insurance fraud in one area. So this got moved there, and that's why the 100,000 and the misdemeanor are not
So
clear.
we're going to have no more attorneys working in our state at all. That's what you're telling me.
No, Georgia lawyer at the Gwinnett County meeting, there were attorneys and other people talking about runners, and it's not Georgia lawyers who employ these people.
Okay.
It's people. I mean, this is like a flagrant thing that you don't have Georgia lawyers doing, because they're going to get disbarred in Georgia. This is mainly like people using these runners to solicit cases.
So I'm glad I'm not a lawyer, because you'd have put me out of business. I was in the mortgage field. That's how I made most of my money. People word of mouth, tell them, hey, he does a good job, go see him. So if a person that doesn't do a good job and you have somebody referring him, that's all they are, is referrals. You're going to put everybody out of business.
There are the state bar has a very clear list of what is permissible and impermissible lawyer advertising. This enforces that. This makes sure that lawyers are not using a middleman to solicit people in violation of current law.
Well, I understand what it says, but it's interpreted a different way. So if I did a good job for somebody, they refer me to 10 other people, that's the same thing as this law just said. They're a runner for me, right?
No,
Okay,
not.
let's finish this up, and I respect the question, and I understand, but, and I want you to get the answer I want you to get the answer straight, and,
I get it, I'm just giving him a hard time.
okay. Well, that's fine. If you would like to say something else?
Sure. The code, and this is current Georgia law, capper, runner, steerer means a person who receives a pecuniary benefit from a practitioner or healthcare service provider, whether directly or indirectly, to solicit, procure, or attempt to procure a client, patient, or customer at the direction or of the request of, or in cooperation with, a practitioner or healthcare service provider whose purpose it is to obtain benefits under a contract of insurance or to assert a claim against an insured or an insurer for providing services to the client, patient, or customer. And this is somebody soliciting patients at a hospital or doctor's office to go assert an insurance claim by a lawyer. That's not a close call in terms of legal ethics. That's not just word of mouth saying he's doing a good job. You're getting pecuniary, you're getting money, you're getting a kickback to violate legal advertising rules. And unfortunately, it's happening. It's not happening with Georgia lawyers.
No.
Yeah. So we're trying to cut out this dirty business here of cappers, runners, or steers, get integrity back, and we want patients to be able to go to the hospital and get treated without, getting solicited.
We have a couple more questions. Chairman Williamson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To Representative Reeves, thank you for bringing this bill, but I do want a little clarity on this as well. Am I reading this correctly, though, that even though there might be somebody who might be charged with this violation of this code section, it still allows for judicial discretion? This just says punished by imprisonment of not more than 10 years, nor fined for more than 2. It doesn't directly say you're not going to jail for 10 years or being fined $200,000. It allows for judicial discretion. That's the maximum penalty somebody could receive.
They're innocent until proven guilty. They can get first offender treatment. They have due process, but this does send a clear message: don't do it.
Okay. And was any groups against including this language?
No, we had attorneys and other people at the Gwinnett County meeting saying this is happening and we need to figure out a way to get rid of it.
And so our good friends at the Georgia Trial Bar Association were in support of this language as well. They weren't fighting it.
I don't want to speak for them,
Yeah.
but this was reviewed by them as well as many others, and
No objections from our legal community in Georgia.
not that I know of.
Okay, well, that's good enough. Thank you.
If the legal community is against it, I might be for it. I don't know. That was a joke also, all you lawyers. Chairman Gullett.
Thank you, Chairman, for bringing the bill. Thanks for all your hard work this summer on the committee, working through that, traveling the state for that. I do have a question related to this. Since you said it's striking out a section somewhere else, putting this here, is there somewhere we're striking out that section, in law as well? It's not part of this title?
Yes.
It's in the bill too?
It's my understanding it does move it here and strike the old section. And it's in Title 33.
Okay. I don't see that, but I trust that's true.
There we go. Legislative Counsel Sarah Crittenden.
There we go.
It reserves.
Okay. So it's in this bill reserving that in that section and moving it
That's
here.
lines 161 to 163.
151, 153.
And that's the current law, 332453. That has the initial crime as a misdemeanor, and then it graduates up to a felony, and it's up to 100,000. And so now we've skipped straight to a felony and up to 200,000.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep. Thank you.
We had two assistant DAs show up at the Gwinnett County meeting for the Gwinnett DA, Patsy Austin Gatson, and they said they're open for business in prosecuting insurance fraud, and we got 51 DAs in Georgia, and the insurance commissioner has investigators ready to support them in prosecuting.
John Barber. You're hot, Mike.
Yeah,
Tell
thank you,
us who you are and who you're with.
Yes, sir. All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm John Barber with the Independent Insurance Agents of Georgia. I just want to start off by saying thank you to Chairman Reeves, Chairman Lumsden, Leader Hughley, who spent a lot of time on this issue over the interim. Representative Gullett also on the committee, Representative Williamson as well. This is an important topic. Independent agents, we write 53% of all insurance premium in the state of Georgia. And, oftentimes, we're only thinking about insurance as those that you see on television. That's not who my members represent, but we are writing many, many Georgians. And I will tell you that my members will be here tomorrow. You may hear from some of them, and they will tell you that the good work that the legislature has been doing, the market is improving. Many will tell you that the last 5 years have been the most difficult of their careers, whether they've been in the business for 5 years or 40 years. The market was challenged, and it still is challenged in Georgia. It will take some time, but we are seeing some improvement. Chairman Reeves mentioned some of the carriers that have taken rate reductions, and we see this as a continuation of bringing some stabilization to the marketplace, and it's important. The speaker said it in his press conference today. How essential that insurance is to the state of Georgia. So this bill has got a number of things. One part that didn't get discussed as much was the fortified housing program. Appreciate Chairman Reeves adding this in. The state of Alabama has over 50,000 homes in the fortified housing program. Georgia has just a few dozen. This is an area that the legislature passed a bill to create the program a few years ago, but it has not had the proper funding. And so if the legislature sees so to expand this program and to add funding, we do think that this will be a benefit to consumers, because if we want to address rates, we're going to have to address losses into the system. So building better, building smarter, being able to have fortified homes that could receive premium reductions, cutting back on insurance fraud, as we said, is a positive, and making sure that when insureds are harmed, that there are proper claims procedures in place. So this bill adds some consumer protections and does a number of things to bring some help with losses in the system. So we appreciate the chairman, all the work that's gone into it, and look forward to this bill through the process.
Thank you, Mr. Barber.
Yes, sir.
And Chairman, Mr. Barber coming and speaking reminds me, one of his independent insurance agents, Mike Royal, spoke in Gwinnett County. He mentioned on a particular policy from year to year, the costs had gone down through more beneficial and flexible underwriting, even without a rate decrease. So, the 10 rate decreases that have formally occurred, that is in addition to some other positive things in the way of choices, underwriting, and things where the companies have more confidence in giving options to customers in this healthier insurance market that we want to keep up through this legislation.
Thank you. And I again would like to thank you and the committee for what you guys did. I looked in on some of them, and so we're about ready to close this out. I want to remind everyone that the other people on the committee may be watching and have questions, and you may be hearing from them. I had to, from a layman's standpoint, this covers everything property and casualty. Your home, maybe your timber, maybe, I don't know, but your car, it's all property and casualty. So the thing of fraud caught my attention as well. And, you know, we had a few years ago, Georgia was one of the worst places in the nation. Staged accidents, renting trucks and running in the back of other vehicles and going after the owners of the rental company. And we recently, I'm not an insurance expert, but for some reason up on the Tennessee border, we had the same carriers that if we wrote a house in Georgia, we had to have a home inspection. And that kind of puts a halt on a lot of your home insurance you sell because you can't afford to pay for it and the customer certainly doesn't want to. And you could go to Tennessee and write it without the home inspection, the same carriers. And that was not insurance. That was just, that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But I just wondered, but I think John answered part of this. I thought you might get the credit. I thought that they may have heard that the vice chair of judiciary, you know how I feel about that committee, was bringing a bill on insurance and the rates went down before he even dropped the bill. But I think he said it was already happening. And
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. I knew I'd get to bring this out at some point, Dave. But my work on this is in tribute to my late mother, who was an insurance agent. She was an A.O. Williams agent to start out with, and Art Williams, who was a football coach, started an insurance company with an innovative product, and he gave out rings to the agents. This is one of her rings. But I learned a thing or two about basic insurance from my late mother. And, you know, insurance is a great line of work to go in where people could give value to their customer. You just heard from John Barber. The agents are out there trying their best to give options in the market to their customers. This bill will let Georgia be a healthy market for the foreseeable future. We're working hard on that.
I believe that. And now you brought up another question. How often have you been carrying that ring? No?
She passed away about 10 years ago.
You've been carrying it ever since?
No. I brought it just to have some grounding and remembrance. And she grew up in Americus, Georgia, and you know worked hard in insurance.
Can I say something I don't usually say about lawyers? I'm impressed, and I appreciate that very much. I think the fraud part of this is very important. I think it's a good piece of legislation, and if there's no further questions from committee, I'm sure Mr. Lumsden will schedule a meeting to hear all three of these bills. I can't say that, but we will. Well, we won't have much time to ask questions, but I'm going to come up with a few before we meet tomorrow. So we thank you, and I thank everyone for being here and for this is a big step, I think, and I hope it's one of the things that helps everybody in the state of Georgia. Thank you.
Thank you.